What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Pit Podcast. I'm your host, Nathan. We got Chris Topher Fong.
I'm back. I'm here. I'm still
And
hungry.
we got Ian Chunky Jason Barber.
I'm back. I'm here.
I don't think you needed.
I'm also still hungry. We didn't get craft services today.
No, not at all. Nate,
What the heck, man? That's because Ian's not behind the table. He's filling in for Jason, who's lost his backpack again.
Bleeding into this year too. That's crazy.
Right after kickoff.
We'll see if we can try to get footage of that again. You guys remember that when he was in the frozen tundra? We'll see. Maybe he's in the desert now. You know.
Yeah, he's in the middle of nowhere with a phone, recording him just scouring the 7 wonders of the world to find the lost treasure of Jason's backpack. Just that's wow. He probably is doing that right now, unironically.
He's in the abyss.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With the depot.
the deep.
Effect on
The
the mind
outpost.
flare. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Yeah. On today's episode, we are giving our initial reactions, thoughts, concerns, qualms, dreams, hopes, fears,
Everything.
with Rebuilt.
Presented by Gene Haas Foundation. Part of First Age, powered by Qualcomm.
Yeah.
Like,
So if you missed it, you probably have. We had a live stream. Go check that on our live tab, live stream page. And we're going to rehash it again. Now we have a chance to sleep on it, of course, and watch a couple more videos, RI3D teams a little bit. We won't be discussing the RI3D teams specifically. We're going to have that in a later episode, but
it's great stuff that they're currently working on. So
yeah, I haven't seen a lot of it yet.
Yeah. Full disclaimer: we're recording this on Sunday, less than 24 hours after kickoff. Actually, looking at the clock, you won't see this till Wednesday, so there might even be a team update out by the time this is out that we just won't have as information because it's not out yet. So.
Yeah, if there's like an emergency team update, yeah.
yeah, and we'll.
Like a holy shit, we fucked up type thing, yeah.
Well, there's one of those, I think, but
Loophole.
We'll get one of those.
Yeah,
every
we'll
couple of years,
we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But
Loop.
loop. But let's just rebuild our thoughts, I guess. So so looking at this year's game and the game animation, initial thoughts is I think first and the game design committee did a pretty decent job of this year's game. Everything is basically just recycled stuff from previous years, stuff that we actually like, right?
What do you like?
I like the fact that they brought back the big old salad bowl, right? The hub, where you could shoot into a high goal, and with the amount of the game pieces, the yellow balls that's on the field, the amount of them that can be utilized for the field is a lot.
It's every field supervisor's dream.
Yeah. So field resetters, you gotta earn your paycheck. But it's for this game a high volume scoring game with honestly not that much restrictions that teams have to worry about when coming up with their strategic designs and strategies on how to play the game, right? Because this year there are no game piece limits. There is no protection at all. Besides
Climbing.
the climbing, but that's yeah. But besides that, there's no protection. I mean, you really could play ham of either collecting game pieces, scoring, passing, or which we'll talk about passing a little more, as well as even defense. Right? There's a time and place where you can be in an opponent's area, an opponent's zone, and play 3 defense theoretically. And I think this game is what's up.
Do you want to build off that, Nate?
Sure. I'll rebuild it. I think first really just says, let's just go chaotic every time we're about to get a new control system, because you look at 2014, that was the last year of the C-Rio and the sidecar, and they're just like, no protection zones. Let's ball out, and then recycle Rush next year. We get like the most padded FRC game ever, right? no bumpers, of course, but there's no defense or anything. So 2027 might be not good. But
I mean, I hate to say it, but we look at the pattern of tote games. We had Stack Attack in 2003, 2015, 12 years later, we get Recycle Rush. 12 years after 2015, it's 2027.
Oh, good. Yeah, you're screwed. I think it'll be fun. Yeah. Lots of chaos in the middle. Tower climbing, different but familiar. And then I think the salad bowl, the hub, it's one of the more difficult shots you can do with the ball. I think the one that might be more difficult is 2020. Try to do the outer and then the inner goals.
Yeah.
Or maybe even like 2012 with the basketball hoops. That one was pretty challenging. But
Oh yeah.
having to go through horizontally is, I think, a little bit easier than having to come down, because now you're talking about like an arc shot with not a lot of backspin because you don't know where your shot's going to land and you want it to go in perfectly in and not bounce out. Yeah.
Thankfully for this year's game, if we look at it compared to 2022, right, you had to worry about game pieces coming out of the goal versus this year. It's
these are pretty dead shot.
Yeah, there's not much rebound to them when being scored. So thankfully, once you put them in, you can safely say that they're in. But I mean, the game piece themselves, it's unique, right? The material that they utilize for the foam itself there's not a lot of compression to them, so they're pretty beefy, right? With the outside being with a slicker polyurethane material, right? I mean, like, again, I did this in a stream too. It's like a fushigi ball.
Yeah, it is. And I'll say, when I was watching the animation itself, I was like, oh, that looks like it's just going to be the same as the Infinite Recharge or the Stronghold, or even if you go all the way back to 2012, like that kind of ball foam texture. I'm like, oh, we just got another one of those, it's just different size. Couldn't be the case at all.
I mean, yeah, there's not, like I said, there's not a lot of compression. So in terms of packaging inside your bots, right, you really got to think of volume, right, for your design. So if you're going to be a team that's going to be primarily adding on a way to collect a lot of these game pieces, volume is going to be one of your biggest challenges within the robot restrictions rules of the game. There's not, because the actual game rules themselves don't specify how many of these you can carry. So infinitely, you can carry as many as your robot can, given the the volume that you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, these are just right.
You need to hold at least 8, though. Recommended to hold at least 8. Why, Ian? Can you tell us why?
What? Why we have to hold at least 8?
Yeah.
Because you can start with up to 8 in auto.
Yeah.
Is that the answer?
Yeah, that was the answer I was going for. Yeah, that's important, right? You're gonna want to score as much fuel as you can on auto. Definitely your 8 preloads, and then look at the depot and outpost. Because auto determines your shifts.
That's right, and that's something we haven't seen, I think, really since 06, where that's just gone. Where since 06, we haven't seen like shifts, right? Literally alliances taking turns to score during the match, right? Because auto, 5 seconds has been added, so now auto is 20 seconds. Then you have an added 10-second transitional period, which the transitional period determines who won auto and who gets to score first, right? Because if I understand it correctly, the loser of auto gets to score first.
Yes.
Yes, the loser scores first, and then it shifts.
Yep.
And after that, because each shift is 25 seconds.
25
seconds. Yeah, 25 seconds. Each alliance gets 4 shifts, and then end game, both alliances can then score whenever they want during the last 30 seconds of end game. So the idea of taking turns now adds a strategic obstacle, where now you got to focus on, what does my team do during the time that I'm scoring, and when we're not scoring, right? And we can get into a little bit of how that looks in our topic of metas of how the game is going to be played. But again, we haven't seen that shift before. So really, game design committee forcing flow of the game before the season even started. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, we know what you're saying.
Yeah.
So how about, why don't we just jump right into the meta then a little bit? And I think during that discussion, we'll probably end up sharing a lot of our thoughts on all the different stages of the game as well. Because my immediate thought is, well, anything else aside, I feel like passing is going to be important.
Oh, yes. Because,
Like, if there's anything we learned from 2024, I just feel like that's going to be a factor. I also feel like your strategy in auto, as well as trying to get that transversal ranking point, which involves getting up to your 50 points, at least at your district and regional events, going up the ladder or tower, is going to be really interesting to see how teams focus on. You want to win auto, in my opinion, you want to win auto so you're on break first. So I think trying to determine, do we want to focus more on fuel during auto and then, leave that to the end game to climb later to get those 50 points? Or how does your scouting data shake out how much fuel you need to score versus if you can grab one or two of those 15-point climbs to make your end game a little easier, you can take advantage of scoring at the end as well. Because it's important to keep in mind, auto and end game are two of those periods where both teams can score, and there's limited times for each of these teams where their scoring is counting for points, at least, right?
Right. I think, and I'm gonna disagree a little bit. Now, of course, in auto, if the score is close enough, then I think, in my opinion, you almost intentionally want to lose auto. Now, of course, if the score is close enough, right? If both alliances coming out of auto is like off by 1 to 3 points, I would say, right? That's like, still neck and neck essentially. If you lose auto and you get to score first, you're setting the tone for the match, right? Because if you're scoring first so if you get the first shift, right, you lose auto and you get to score first. That means you have, let's say, if you already utilize your preloads from the depot, from the corner of the field to your human player station, the outpost, or whatever that's called, right? Now you have all the balls in the neutral zone in the middle of the field, more or less either untouched. If that hasn't been utilized on your field during auto by your alliance, you have all those fuel that you can utilize to pass, and then have your teammates clean up and score first, and try to score as much as you can during your first shift. So that way, depending on how many fuel that you score, now you're forcing the other alliance to look at the score, put a little pressure on them, and then make them work in their second shift.
That's why Chris isn't on my team.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could happily counter that, but if you want to take the turn to do that, Nate.
I don't want to be on offense first. Win auto so that I can spend that first shift collecting. Because if I'm on offense for that first shift, now I'm taking my 25 seconds that I could be shooting. I have to spend collecting balls from the center, right? It's just like the amp in 2024. And every time that the amp is on, every time the hub is active, I need to be ready. All my robots need to be full of balls. And as soon as the light's on, I'm just unloading and scoring, and then getting a second load and doing the same thing. So if I'm on first shift, there's that transition period, to get some balls, and that'll help. But the transition period is only half as long as the shift, right? It's like 10 seconds long. So there's 10 seconds to go get balls, but I want to be ready and loaded to go. And instead of 10 seconds to get balls, now if I'm on offense in second shift, now I have 35 seconds to get balls, right? A lot more and get ready. I might be able to get 2 loads of balls, right? If I pass them.
Yeah, pass them over, just flood your area so you can just shoot. You can pick them immediately, shoot again. Maybe you can get a third one in if you're one of those, kind of top dogs.
Yeah,
sure.
I understand wanting to put pressure and kind of intimidate them with having a higher score like that, but just like the amp. If it's on, I want to be ready and locked and just unload for the entire 25 seconds.
Yeah. And I would
That
argue
makes
if
sense.
I'm one of the teams that is losing auto, I'm already feeling pressure because that pressure's on me now. I'm already down, and now I have no fuel, and I need to be scoring now because I know as soon as my 25 seconds is up, they've spent 35 seconds getting ready. They're going to just erase that
Yeah.
deficit and
Unload.
put us in a hole for our
Yeah.
next shift.
Yeah. So you need to win auto. If you
think-
don't win auto, you're kind of screwed.
I mean, yes. You ideally you want to win auto. That's, I mean, I think for all alliances, I mean, you got to win auto too, right? I think I would say early in the season, right? Early in comp season, so like week 1s, week 2s, that's not going to be much of a factor versus like later half in the season, right? Later into like district champs or worlds, where yes, you have to win auto, so that way you get that little advantage, right? It's, early in the season, maybe you'll see that in a marginal sense to where you'll get that extra time to start collecting and start getting ready, but that time most teams are just going to focus on just like either after auto, still grab piece and just score. Not that level of.
We'll have to see. I mean, like early on, people are still trying to figure out how to play the game, and a lot of teams haven't read the rules in depth.
What rules?
So
What rules?
I'm sure we're gonna see teams trying to score in the hub when it's not on, and just not knowing the rules as much as they think. So,
But that's but
if like even just your average team who knows what they're doing and they unload their 8 balls and then they go to the deep power outpost and even score and they're just dominating auto, then they're gonna know what to do and how to play the game and they're gonna win really easily.
which I want to go back to a point that you just said too. Scoring while not active. I'm sure somebody have already asked this question in the Q&A.
Q&A is not open yet.
Oh, really?
By the time of the
by the time of
Wednesday.
release, yeah.
Now they usually do the first team update right before Q&A though, so they avoid those softball questions. I think, right? So they might have addressed this in a team update, unless I'm misremembering. This could be fake, but anyway, as of today, what were we thinking, Chris?
So as of today, right? Obviously, in the rules, in the manual, when you shoot a ball in a non-active hub, you don't get any points, and that's clearly, right. It's clearly stated in the verbiage of the manual. So when you score during a non-active, no points is awarded. But in terms of ranking point, it doesn't explain nor define if a ball is scored in the hub. It doesn't explain or say it has to be active to have it count towards your RP, to your ranking point, to your energized and supercharged ranking points. Which, by the way, what those are is you need 100 balls into the hub for an energized ranking point, and as of right now for regionals and districts, 360 for a supercharged ranking point. The wheel loophole is it doesn't need to be at the moment, at least it doesn't need to be active for the balls to count towards the RP, because it never says it has to be active for the RP to count. But obviously, yeah.
You just keep going around and around.
Chris, you remind me a lot of our early episodes last season.
He's just excited.
We all are.
Yeah, and I think early on you'll see a lot of teams score in the inactive hub to get their ranking point because they just need that firepower and throughput to get the ranking point, right? And we'll talk about the tower ranking points and other stuff later in a sec. But yeah, I think that makes sense. I think later on, once we get to obviously like states and probably like maybe week 5 or 6 or like a stacked event, the 100 and the 360 ranking point will just come pretty easily, or it'll come really, really close, right? To where we don't need to score in the inactive hub. It'll just be, you're just scoring so many balls while it's active that 100 easy peasy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like early on, we'll probably see some people scoring in inactive hubs.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And then I think it's also important to to build on what you were saying, Nate. Playoffs, obviously, we don't care about ranking points. So to a certain extent, obviously playoff strategy tends to be a little different than qualification strategy, but you'll probably want to get some practice in figuring out what's going to be the best way as an alliance to operate to maximize those 25-second periods where you're getting your points.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot them all in the corners. Have 2 robots go clean them up.
Yeah.
So
1 robot just kind of maintain control of the middle, I think.
what are we
Maybe even
thinking
2.
about ranking points? I think
Yeah,
we
so
just
we
kind of
did.
touched
Yeah,
did
we
on
that
just
one
we
a little
touched.
bit.
Yeah.
The one with the tower. You gave the breakdown the other day of I just need 2 L1 climbs in auto and then 2 in end game.
an end game. Yeah, I guess just to reiterate for all of our viewers, I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably have already read the rules and memorized these, but 3 ranking points this year, 2 having to do with scoring fuel, 100 and 360 for the energized and supercharged, like Chris just mentioned, and then 50 points for that transversal point that has to do with the tower. Combine your points between auto and teleop, and then of course it's 15 points for that tower and auto.
For L1.
For L1, only go to L1 and auto,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
in the end game 10, 20, 30 for L1, 2, and
Right.
3.
Respect.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that seems like a no-brainer. No-brainer as long as you have another person that can do L1. I think everyone should be doing L1. The kitbot can't do L1. It can only shoot, so they'll have to like iterate on that. But it seems like a no-brainer to be able to pull up with your partner in auto and then go back and do it in end game.
Yeah.
You know, get a ranking point. That one I think will get a lot more than the supercharge
Yeah. Because I mean,
or energized, whatever
yeah,
it's called.
because I mean, I think it's pretty necessary. You have to do L1.
Yeah.
But whether or not you choose to do L2 and L3 is another story. Because I think early in the season, L3, well, L2 can be a different discussion there, but L3, early in your first events or early in the comp season, I don't think it's crucial to have versus just keeping during endgame just continue scoring, because the points for endgame is a little lower than anticipated, because level 3 is only 30 points, right? So 30 points. So let's say, right, end game, you could choose however you want to score. Do you want to take the time to climb the tower to just get just flat 30 points, or do you want to continue grabbing more fuel and continue scoring to the hub and possibly get more than 30 points?
Yeah, I think
Right.
that especially going back to when we're talking about winning versus losing auto, the team that loses auto and is going first, they have that 25-second dead period right before end game. So you'd think for them, probably just hoarded a bunch of fuel. Let's try to unload that in the end game versus a 30-point climb
Sure.
potentially,
Yeah.
right? No.
Yeah. Obviously, depending on how teams design their climbers for L3, obviously if they're fast enough to get 30 plus points end game plus climb quick enough, they might as well, right? But I think another thing to consider in terms for the tower is where you're going to climb, because I'm pretty sure everyone's going to be fighting for the center rungs of the tower, anyways, the ladder. So right, so I think everybody is going to try to design ways to climb on the sides to make room for teams for multiple bots to climb on the.
I think if you're going up the middle, you're kind of a dickhead. Taking up the space.
Fatty.
Yeah, I think you should be going up the verticals. I think that's a little bit easier to go up to, because if you go up the center or even the sides, you're kind of swinging around. You're just grabbing onto the rung itself.
You can contact this the support.
Right. If you go up
Yeah.
the verticals, that's one straight bar that guides you all the way up. It keeps you orientated.
Yeah.
I did think about going up the sides, because that keeps your robot on the side, and that'll be a way to get 3. So yeah, maybe we see that Ed States or Einstein of 2 robots on the side, 1 up the middle. But I'd be pretty happy with just 2 going up the verticals.
Funny enough, the game animation basically told you how to do it. Which
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought of something that we didn't talk about yesterday. At what point in the season do you think we see like a robot that climbs to the high rung L3, and then you got an L2 right below it, and the L3 falls and squishes a robot? I can just picture this. It just popped in my head. I'm like,
Week, I want to say 2 or 3.
I feel like it's gonna happen. And it's gonna suck for
Oh,
the
yeah,
team
yeah,
that's
for sure.
underneath too, because there's nothing they could do about it other
Just
than not climb underneath their partner.
What's the just like 2019 where we had the trust parks where like somebody would do a overhanging hab 3 climb, their bot was over top, and then somebody would come underneath and park. Right?
I'd be at, I would just a skill issue.
Skill issue.
Don't be
Trust issue, I guess.
Yeah, the trust issue.
Trust issue.
All right.
What else we got? Or do you have any more thoughts you wanted to say in?
Kind of transitioning out of ranking points, I guess, and this will kind of be, I guess, an auto topic, which we didn't hit on earlier. Obviously, we talked about the winning with the fuel, but obviously this year, 2 of the ranking points are for the same things, 2 different thresholds, which, whatever our thoughts are there, maybe. But in auto, especially, I guess these aren't related at all. But there's no mobility in auto.
Nope.
And there's also no point advantage in auto, which I'm guessing is because obviously you want the advantage of going second, unless you're like Chris and you want to go first. But then also for scoring, obviously they make the kit bot that can shoot high, but I feel like most shooting years we see a low goal or some sort of secondary thing, right? You think 2024 we got the amp, 2022 there was the lower level. You think 2020 there was a lower goal. 2017, you had low fuel and gears, and you could ignore fuel. I don't know how long it's been since we've seen a like high goal only shooter with really no secondary objective.
I would like to point out, I agree with you 100%. Yeah, really interesting. There was a way for a box bot, skateboard, pizza box, whatever you want to call it, to score not directly, but through the human player. If them hurting,
Oh yeah.
them hurting balls into the lower opening of the outpost, they can. It's a 2-way gate hole. You can put robots can push into the human player, and human players can feed it back out. But those robots can hurt it into that lower, and then the human player can throw it into the hub.
Yeah.
And that shot seems pretty
Doable.
doable. Yeah,
Doable,
doable is a
yeah.
great word. Yeah,
Yeah,
doable is a great word. It's not even like half the field. It's probably like a third of the field distance away. We were kind of measuring it out in our shop, and
the hub is
super duper high. Yeah,
the hub is also pretty big too.
yeah.
It's like
I
almost.
think the only thing is just that you can't get a. Maybe my hands are just small, but you can't really get like a good grip on this thing, right?
No, I think that's fair. Yeah.
So these things gonna be slipping out of people's hands.
I'm curious if teams will bring like some sort of like resin,
Sticky glove? Yeah,
resin,
yeah.
sticky glove too.
Human player needs football gloves for sure. That'll help. Yeah.
Which I think that we just added another thing for the Q&A. Can a human player?
I'm actually I'm gonna put that on the buy list right now for my team.
Can you bring rosin or
sticky
stuff?
stuff. It's all of our baseball fans will know about the kind of scandal with that, the spider tack a few years back. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. It's so the human players will have even for those chassis bots too, just hurting the balls and into that outpost for the human players to either hoard or to launch it back into the goal during the shooting period. Yeah, I mean that's just another effective strategy that can be played by teams on those levels. So that's good. It's good. But shifting to game, so the game itself, I think relatively is pretty balanced points wise, because more or less, because each of these balls are only worth 1 point. But let's say you have a volley, right? Of your system can hold about like 30 plus balls. One volley already gets you like 30 plus points. Right, and another team, if it's the same thing, 30 plus points. Another team, however many they do, and that's already a lot of points per cycle, per volley, if they all go into the goal. Then the towers, like we said, level 3 is 30 points, middle rungs 20 points. The one is it 10 points?
10 points.
10 points
in end game
and
in auto.
Yeah. So I think I think it's pretty good compared to like 2017. Is remember the like if you can see on our table here the wiffle ball that year fuel as well. That
1/9 of a point for one scored in the low goal.
Yeah.
is not that great compared to 40 points for every rotor you get spinning. I don't know. No, I agree. I think maybe the climbs are a little undervalued, but it does feel very balanced.
Yeah, so I think with the game design committee, I think that they did a good job on that front. With actually, what's the points for minor and major fouls this year?
5 and
Minors
15.
5 is majors 15.
15. Okay.
I think a lot of that balancing we see is because of auto being the same as Taliop. Because I agreed Tower is undervalued. I think Tower should be worth more points. But the fact that auto isn't double your points allows you to, like we were talking about earlier, try to make up that deficit and margin right through the shift phase. Because if you were down, right, if auto was worth twice as much, then it'd probably take you 2 shifts just to make up that deficit in Taliop. And then, those other 2 shifts where your opponent's working on you, they're just increasing that deficit and you're screwed. So smart of them to make everything worth the same amount of points, I think. And hopefully that doesn't age like milk. We'll see. That's only speculation. I also said Reefscape was a busy and fun game, and it turned out not to be.
I think this game will hold its age. I think so.
Sorry.
Ow!
I'm so sorry. What happened to your
You
elbow?
hit my boo boo.
I know what happened.
I did my cold open and the carpet cut me up.
That was from the cold open?
Yes. If you guys don't know, I actually take injury for your guys' entertainment. So you better subscribe and like the post, okay?
We gotta clean and disinfect. Now I'm noticing some of the bloods on the blanket right there.
Oh shit.
Okay.
We'll deal with that later.
We'll deal with that later.
No, I'm good.
Rerolling a little bit.
So we got scouting. We talked about balancing, I think. Similarities to previous games.
A lot of
I think we talked about that today. I think this is an interesting one to talk about because I don't know how your teams approach like after kickoff, but basically for our team, one thing we do is we sit down, we watch, we read the rules, whatever. We kind of figure out what's allowed, what's not allowed. Then we send the kids home with homework where it's kind of trying to brainstorm ideas for the robot, and then we talk about those on Monday and Tuesday before we start prototyping. Part of that homework is we talk about like previous games that could serve as good inspiration for them to look at. So I think there's a lot of previous games that give components this year that we could share with our younger pit crew members who maybe were in FTC last time some of these things were around. And well, I guess if you're watching us, you probably are addicted to first and know the old games. But yeah, 2017, 2022 are sticking out a lot for the shooting of the balls. 2017 and to an extent 2020. 2020 also for the shooter, I guess, but for like the storage of multiple, maybe. I think the tower is reminding me sort of 2022 where it was like the monkey bars, but it's more vertical. So it's like 2016, 2018, maybe a little better.
Sure. 2013. You said 2013?
I didn't say 2013.
2013. You remember the ball, the pyramid when teams climb was a little bit angled, but more or less the same.
Similar to 2022, I guess. Yeah. And then I don't know. I like to think of it a lot at the high lows, like 2017. It's almost like married with 2016 in a way, with the bump and the.
I think it was also called the tower.
It's the low bar. What's it called?
Low bar. Yeah. The tower.
Towers.
But it's like to go back and forth between the middle of the field and your alliance area. You got to go over one of the defenses.
Oh yeah.
Whether that be the bump or that low bar like thing, which I think also adds a fun engineering challenge of, do you want to sacrifice height or do you want to make sure your drivetrain can handle that bump?
Going over the bump.
I'm not an expert on the mechanical or dimensions of things. I don't know how big of a problem that bump would be.
Well, it's 6 inches with a 15-degree angle. So with swerve, there's some swerves that we've seen recently with a lot of the RI3D teams that if you're just a chassis with a bumper, if you go just slow enough, there is a sweet spot where you can get stuck on top of the bump there. So it's a part of a challenge. Do you want to compensate for that? Do you want to try to overthink it, or do you just want to slap everything on, let the momentum of the bot do the work for you? That's part of the physics of trying to see what works for that aspect. So I think the bump is it's a good addition of it. So, yeah, that's a lot of recycled stuff, which is good.
Just happy to be here.
What do you want to talk about, Nate? Is there anything left on your mind?
Yeah, let's talk about scouting.
Scouting. Oh,
Scouting.
I like scouting.
Teams are gonna try to count all these balls going in the hub that robots are shooting.
Good luck, guys.
We use Scout radios on our team. We're gonna be using Scout radios in 2026. We've been using it for 3 or 4 years since 2023. So I love Scout radios. I know Night Vision has their own custom scouting. I don't know what you guys use.
We have a custom one.
Custom one as well. Homemade or somebody else?
Homemade, yeah.
So I think what we'll probably do there's not a lot of things to scout, which is nice, right? It's just balls, maybe passing.
I guess how
and
many
then
volley?
climbing.
Oh, I would also add in how many volleys a team can do as well,
Like
because
passing.
not passing. Well, passing as that as well, but also how many cycles, I guess, a team can perform, right? So either in passing or shooting, how many cycles you guys can do within a certain shift as well is pretty important. Data as well.
Yeah.
I think so.
I feel like more than
There's a way to
ever.
break that down, yeah.
Well, maybe not more than ever, but I feel like there's a lot of pit scouting data that'll be good to have this year of, how do you, like, which parts of the tower do you climb on? Can you pass from midfield? Can you pass from the opponent's zone? We didn't talk about that on this video, but the defense of not knocking people around to prevent them from scoring, but the defense of taking away all the balls they've thrown in their area is interesting.
But it's like, you can ask that, sure, but I think a lot of the data that you scout on field also will show that, right?
As long as you're tracking you got to figure out how to track that passing data then. Yeah.
Did they shoot from opponent's field? Checkbox. Did they shoot from neutral zone? Checkbox. And then you just see how many times they do that in the match, and then we look at that data, right? He disagrees with me.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I think that challenge really is not like whether or not somebody can do it. It's just keeping track of everything that's happening.
Yeah.
In that field, and how do you quantify that in a simplified thing to look at.
And proof of execution is really important versus like, oh yeah, we can climb L3 and we can score 50 per volley with 95% accuracy.
Exactly. Yeah. What you do on the field will be where it shows.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, there might not even be a lot for us to pit scout. Just like what drivetrain you're using. Okay, so yeah. How big's your robot? Everybody's got a low CG now for the most part, right? Under 30 inches. Don't really need to worry about
you got
that.
A ground
tipping
intake?
Over. Ground intake.
Ground intake, yeah.
But then again, like, do I really care how they pick up the balls as long as they're putting in a lot of balls,
I guess so.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe for auto, but like we're not usually at a high level where we're coordinating autos like that, It's like they score a lot of balls and I want them,
Yeah, that makes sense.
But we're thinking at a much lower level than your teams are, I'm sure. Because you guys go to the Worlds a lot. So
I wouldn't say a lot.
No? I think so.
Okay. Well, so I know we're kind of running a bit short on time. I just thought of a random question that I think is a good one. As you know from the pitties, And every time we did an off season and I was either game announcing or in the Pit podcast booth, I loved 9245's robot last year. They were just amazing. The L2, L3 machine, like just they didn't even think of L4. They were so efficient. They're so beautiful. Can you? Because I thought of this last thing. Can we think of what that robot would be this year? It's like you're that super effective role player in a position where it's like you're an MVP even if you can't do the fanciest L4 thing. Because with how few different ways there are to score this year, I'm struggling to think, I guess, of something like that.
My only thing is that for a team of similar to that frame, I think vision. I mean, if for a team that can utilize vision like throughout the entire match, constant, positioning of the field and knowing exactly where to pass, where to score, at a moment's notice, that'll be that type of team, the one that can utilize vision, right? Because like last year, 9245, the reason why they're arguably the best level 2 and level 3 bot is because their vision was unmatched. It was insane, the automation that went into that bot. And shout out to that team that worked on it. Phenomenal work. So I think a team that can utilize that, the April tags and vision to the teeth, yeah, we'll have that caliber.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. I'm thinking more like really simple mechanically. Ground intake, pick up a bunch of balls, no fancy hopper. It's kind of like open top, like 254 2017. Yeah, just no fancy funneling system or spin decks or anything. Just all the balls get funneled. Single shooter, no turret, just bang, bang, bang. Yeah, maybe like some basic vision, like lock on, April tag, and just empties their load and it's plays the match more strategically than they are fancy mechanically, I think, right? No turret, no fancy gimmicks, no nothing. I think that's kind of like the core Dreadnoughts type stuff. Just even like an L1 climber too. Nothing,
even
nothing crazy. Just keep
game,
it really simple.
Yeah, this game fundamentally is not that hard. I mean, if you really have a smooth, simple bot, you could really put in a lot of points.
Yeah, it's like a souped up kit bot. It looks kind of like the kit bot, but ground intake, a couple other things, and I think that's it. I think that's the winner.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you think, Ian?
I think you guys, like I said, I couldn't answer the question, which is why I asked. So I think you guys put some good points together. Yeah, I think shooter. I think that's a good point with how important good, clean vision is to speed things up, and then just an L1 climb. I think in a lot of situations might get the job done.
Thank you for joining. Remember to like and subscribe on this video. Leave a comment on your thoughts on Rebuilt. Follow us on Instagram, @pitpodcast_official. We're going to have our game piece tournament bracket challenge thing coming up.
I should introduce this right now because we'll launch it today.
Oh.
Like, Wednesday. Because that's today.
Our show became a little longer.
Yes. You remember our game tournament. It was a lot of fun. It was really great. A lot of people said it was a lot of fun. But this is going to be an even better and bigger tournament where we're going to look at the last 24 game pieces, including our thoughts on this new fuel that isn't the 2017 fuel. So be sure to check out our Instagram @pitpodcastofficial. I think we're going to do every other day. We're going to drop another post where you're going to get a chance to vote. Be sure to leave a comment with your vote. You can like other comments that agree with you, just like we did with our last tournament. And we're going to it'll be single elimination. We're going to figure out what's been the best game piece since, I think it goes back to 2009.
No purchase necessary.
No purchase necessary.
Yep, no purchase necessary.
Unless
but if you want to purchase,
shop.pitpodcast.com, powered by Blue Arc Apparel.
If you also want me to do anything on Cameo, we do have a Cameo.
Still have a Cameo.
Yeah, so
please make him do funny stuff.
Please, I'll literally do whatever you tell me to do. Find us on Cameo. I'll do whatever you need.
Thank you, Pit Crew, and we'll see you in the competition. Turbo sword.
Wow, I've never seen that before.
Six.